Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Action Jackson, and we're going to be talking about good news about DeMarvin Overshown potentially being able to play by November. We're going to be talking about some bad news about running back 2, Miles Sanders, being out for the year. We're going to be talking about the rest of the injury report. Should the Dallas Cowboys potentially look to add another running back? Although I know we do have Jaden Blue, we have Phil Maffa that we can activate off of IR and things of that nature. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. We're going to be talking about the Miles Sanders situation. It has been confirmed by the team that Miles Sanders has suffered a knee injury that will knock him out for the rest of the 2024 season, or my bad, the 2025 season. What I think about this news, I really think this is we want to see what Jaden Blue has to offer, so your knee hurts. Although I know he did suffer a ankle injury in that Green Bay game, but I just think that they've just said that he has a knee injury. They're going to set him out for the rest of the year. Because it was an ankle. I thought he was on track to potentially play, but they're going to knock him out for the rest of the year. Arguably, he was your second best running back, but you knew that there was a complete drop-off between when Javonte Williams was in the game and then when Miles Sanders was in the game. So that was a major issue that I felt that the Dallas Cowboys had. I didn't think that Javonte Williams was going to come out as hot as he did. I thought he was going to be a player that once the season gained steam, that he was going to be better at that time. But that was a pleasant surprise for him to be arguably one of your best players offensively just to start out the season. So that has been a really good addition for us, right? That I didn't really necessarily see. I didn't understand why, why Javonte Williams wasn't playing any preseason. And then once we heard coaches say that, hey, the running backs without pads looked a little bit differently. Then once we saw Javonte Williams with pads, there was a substantial difference between him and all the other running backs, right? So Jaden Blue is going to get the at-bat shot to be the second back behind Javonte Williams, but it just hasn't been looking so good, in my opinion, because Jaden Blue didn't even get a whole bunch of carries in a blowout when Javonte Williams was sitting out. Javonte Williams was still getting the bulk of the carries, even he was finishing out the game by himself, you know what I mean? Like, Jaden Blue didn't get a whole lot of reps, in which I thought he was going to in that blowout win. The front office, they feel, really good about him. So does this coaching staff in a way. But, if he's not ready to go, I think the Dallas Cowboys should, any which way, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys should be looking to add another running back. Because if we just look at our injury report, we have a crap ton of people that are on the list. And that's stars, that's rotational players, that's pivotal role players, are all on the injury report. If Javonte Williams pops up on that injury report and he's possibly, let's say he stubs his toe, he has a messed up ankle and he can't go for a few weeks, are you really putting in that trust for a Jaden Blue to be running back 1? I don't think so. Are you going to have trust to activate Phil Maffa and for him to be running back 1? I don't think so. So if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I would be on the block looking for a running back. A few names that could potentially be on the chopping block or the trading block is a guy like Alvin Kamara. We know who he formerly was. He was a guy that messed you up last year. Week 2 in last year's matchup against the New Orleans Saints, they beat you terribly, right? That was a guy who had, 150 plus yards from scrimmage. He had a few touchdowns. He just looked like his prime self, right? He looked like 2017, 2018 Alvin Kamara. And then, shortly after that, it slowed down for him. But that's obviously a player that I'm looking for to trading for. Another running back that would be on my list that I had in the offseason is Breece Hall. Obviously, with the Jets being 0-5 and Breece Hall being on the last year of his deal, you'll be in the same predicament with Javonte Williams with a Breece Hall, meaning that they both are on one-year deals and you would have to look to possibly extend them. I wouldn't mind trading for a guy like Breece Hall. Obviously has issues putting the ball on the ground, but I feel like if you can fix that up, I would love for him to be here in Dallas. For him and Javonte Williams to split carries, I believe you'll have a dangerous backfield if you were to add Breece Hall. But I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are willing to give up a 5th or a 6th round pick just to have a player on a 1-year deal. if you're considering about keeping Javonte Williams, I don't even know if the Dallas Cowboys would even feel inclined to even extend a guy like that, right? The other two running backs I'm potentially looking to add, but they're right around that Jaden Blue where, they're very fast running backs. A guy like Jalen Wright, he's backing up Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon right now. You don't know what they're going to do with Jalen Wright. He is their third running back. This second year in the league, so he would have this second year and then 2 more years left on his rookie deal for you to have him around. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, that would be potentially another running back I'm looking for. And then Keaton Mitchell would be, a running back in his last year because he's UDFA, so he only has 3 years on his deal. So if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I would potentially looking to add for these guys. I would want a Breece Hall or add a guy like Alvin Kamara. Everyone has been put out the idea of Bijan. That's not going to happen. He's too hellified of a back for the Atlanta Falcons, and plus that helps out for a young quarterback like Michael Penix Jr., so they're not going to trade him. Colts are not going to trade away Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor held out to get his money, and plus they're on a potential track to even make the playoffs and be a high seed if they keep up what they've been doing so far. The Colts are going to be a dangerous team come playoff time, so I don't think the Colts are going to get up off of Jonathan Taylor. I know the Jaguars, they got a bunch of running backs, Tuden, who else they got? Travis Etienne. I know they just traded Tank Bigsby to the Eagles. So, that's potentially a team you can look at. But if I'm Dallas Cowboys, I'm still in the market looking for a running back, even with Jane Blue being your running back too, and with Miles Sanders going down, because if Javonte Williams deals with some sort of injury, you need another explosive back there. DeMarvin Overshown, great news. He's potentially a guy that is going to be returned to practice. Right now, he is on the PUP list, so the Dallas Cowboys will have to take him off of PUP and have him be activated to go. They'll just activate his 21-day window. They're looking to do that, they said, towards the end of this month or later this month. They're looking to activate him, right? So that's why he can potentially return and have him playing by November. So if they activate him off the PUP list, it's probably going to have to be after that Broncos game, October 26th. That's towards the end of the month. If I am the Dallas Cowboys, if he is truly ready to go by the time for Thanksgiving, I would love that, because really this season really turns up after you play the Cardinals, because then you go on your bye week. Then once you come out of the bye, you got to go to Vegas and play the Raiders. And then 6 days on a short week, you have to play your division rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, at home. And then 4 days later, you have to play Thanksgiving, which you always do, and you'll play the Kansas City Chiefs. And then a week after Thanksgiving, you have to play the Detroit Lions in Detroit. So that stretch right there, by the time you get to Arizona, you already know what your season's going to be, but you're definitely going to know whether or not you can be a potential playoff team or be a team that's picking in the top 10 after you get out of that stretch of playing Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Chargers, Commanders. You're already going to know what your season's going to look like by the time you play Lions. You're already going to know, right? But realistically, if we can have DeMarvin Overshown by that Raiders game, that'll be tremendous, because if you can activate him off PUP, he doesn't play versus the Cardinals, and then he'll have 2 weeks, or he'll have multiple weeks, but he'll have that week to, he'll have 14 days, to be ready from that Cardinals week all the way until you play the Raiders. So that'll be a potential target date that I'll be looking for from the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't really know. But prayerfully, it is that for this with DeMarvin Overshown, that he is ahead of schedule instead of, hey, our linebacker room is looking very shaky and we need you to play now, because I don't want to rush this player back and something unforeseen happens. Not saying it does or anything of that nature, praying for him, but I don't want I don't want to rush him back and he deals with something else and it really puts his career at a detriment. And I want this, even if he's not playing for us, I want him to have a long, healthy career in this league. So hopefully we're not rushing back to Marvin Overshown, but I'm very happy that he is being able to come back, and he's able to come back as soon as he is able to come back and play. So shouts out to the training staff and to Marvin Overshown working his butt off in rehab to have himself ready for this season. A lot of injuries, right? So we have Tyler Booker that's going to be out versus the Panthers. CeeDee Lamb, Jack Sanborn's going to be out with a concussion We already talked about Miles Sanders. Devontae Turpin's going to be out. But we have a bunch of questionables with both of our corners, that being Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs. Kalen Carson's questionable. They're probably not going to activate him off that IR list. Johnny Cornelius is questionable. Marshawn Nealon is questionable. So is Mingo, and so is Tyler Smith. Full participants on Friday's practice is Clowney, Fowler, Guyton, James Houston. Hey, man, that's James Houston. Joe Milton just had a baby, so that's the reason why he was put on the list. Kenneth Murray, Wanye, Sam Williams, and Donovan Wilson were all full participants. So, again, just the injury bug hitting for the Dallas Cowboys. We're not the only team dealing with major injuries to major players. But prayerfully, all the guys that are questionable are able to go, like Diggs, Bland, Mingo, or not Mingo. Hopefully he's ready, but I don't think they're going to activate him just yet. I think they're going to wait till that Washington week for a lot of these guys to be activated and for these guys to be full go. And pray for that Nealon and Tyler Smith are full goes this coming week versus the Panthers. We might not necessarily need them, but I would like for a guy like Tyler Smith to be out there. Same with Tyler Guyton, and I want to at least have majority of your starting offensive line out there versus playing 2 weeks of 80% of your offensive line, 4 out of the 5 missing versus the Carolina Panthers. I'm not worried about their pass rush or anything like that. They're still an NFL team. You got to worry about Derrick Brown and things of that nature. But, I want to have those guys playing. So that's why next week when we have the Washington Commanders on docket, we'll have, we're going to have CeeDee Lamb, Sanborn, Turpin, Booker. Those guys are definitely going to be full goes. I will be shocked if those guys are not ready to go. But for sure, I believe CeeDee Lamb, Booker, Sanborn, Turpin. We're going to probably activate Mingo. If not Mingo, for sure, Kalen Carson. We're going to activate a lot of guys, and a lot of guys will be returning for that Washington week, just from what the sounds of it, with CeeDee Lamb working on the resistant cords, Tyler Booker no longer being in the boot. I feel like a lot of those guys are going to be ready by the time Washington comes, and I feel like the training staff is going to make sure those guys are ready. So, again, that's about it for the video. DeMarvin Overshown is possibly going to be playing in November, which is not much of a shocking rumor, in my opinion. With Miles Sanders being out for the year, I still think the Dallas Cowboys should be looking for a running back, whether that is Alvin Kamara, whether that is Breece Hall, or if the Dallas Cowboys want to do their special team, go cheap but young, they can go Jalen Wright or Keaton Mitchell. But I don't think Dallas Cowboys don't believe any of those rumors. Bijan's not available. Jonathan Taylor's not available. Yeah, you can call and check, but I don't think Dallas Cowboys are going to go out there and call and check. And if you realistically think about it from a football perspective, the Colts are not going to trade away their running back, and the Falcons are not going to trade away, especially with them looking across the league and seeing the parity in the league. They possibly think they have a chance to at least be one of the 3 wild card teams to make it. I don't think you're going to trade away your star running back right now, especially if you're fighting for your season. But I think Alvin Kamara and most of those vets on the New Orleans Saints are going to be up for trade. So, and then look at the long, lengthy list of guys that are questionable and or out versus Carolina. We got to pay attention for that come Sunday. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.